more Rise of Ronin preview, guys. If you're wondering what the heck Rise of Ronin is about, well, it is a journey across a war-torn 19th century Japan. This game is focused on combat and open-world RPG from one of my favorite teams, Team Ninja. Now, basically, guys, what this game is all about is that we have Westerners descending upon the nation's border via ships, and the country falls into a state of turmoil amidst this chaos of war and Westerners coming to Japan and the cease and political unrest. A nameless warrior forges their own path, holding the very fate of Japan in their hands. Now, within this preview, we're going to talk about everything we currently know about the game, why we're excited, and why you should be excited for the Rise of Ronin. First and foremost, guys, it's going to be an open world game, but one very important thing to note is that you're not supposed to kill everything in this game, okay? It's extremely important because killing everything could change the fate of the game. Now, another really important thing is that exploration is going to be extremely key, and there are major cities that you're going to be able to visit. Now, pardon if I mispronounce any of these names, but I'm going to try my best to get them as good as possibly can. We got Yokohama, which is going to be one of the cities you're going to be able to visit, Kyoto, and Edo, known today as Tokyo. Yasuda states that the countryside and the rural areas between these cities. Now, you're going to be able to explore these areas in different ways. You're going to be able to go on foot, get your footsies ready. You're going to be able to get on horseback riding, and you're also going to have a glider and a grappling hook. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. How do we get a glider? How do we get a grappling hook if this is going to be pretty old times that we're in? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Now, there is a lot of close quarter combat here where your sword is going to be playing a very integral part. And the best way I can describe this is you're going to got to make sure you're familiarized with games like Neon. So it's going to, if you played that game before, this is going to be very similar. Now, one interesting thing about the game is that it not only is it telling a story, but it's telling a story that's based on real life events. There are some real life figures that some of you guys historians out there, which there's some of you out there, let me know in the comment section. Like we have the following: Sakamoto Ryoma and Yokosuda Soin. Now, guys, don't get at me if I mess this up. Now, they're going to be making an appearance in the game, and it's going to be tying the game together, giving us some integral fictional and some integral real life events as we progress and play the game. Now, the great thing is that you'll be able to pick and choose what type of story you want to go and what type of direction you want the story to go based on the choices you make. Now, conversation is going to be a very integral part of the game because it's going to give you multiple responses that you're able to, interact with the dialogues. The key story moments provide options like killing or sparing or assassinating a target. Now, these are going to be all posed by questions and dialogue that you're going to have to decide to pick. And I don't know if you're going to become a killer, an assassin, or you're just going to pardon everybody while playing the game. But that's going to be up to you. Now, one interesting to note, even though the game is a little bit open world, the game is almost more linear per se, because don't expect too many branches into the main story. But completing certain side missions related to the main story narrative or centering on an important character will steer the overall adventure towards one of several endings. So there are multiple endings within the game, and you're going to have different options, but they're not going to be extensive amount of options. It's just going to be certain side quests and certain decisions that you might take upon you playing the game. Now, there are things called bond missions, which will involve helping specific characters to improve your relationship with them, and this will also impact the ending. So these two things together are going to correlate to give you guys a different alternative. So expect multiple endings. As to how many multiple endings we have in the game, we don't know, but as soon as we find out, I'll let you guys know. Now, the game has a system in place where you're going to need to form bonds with lands in different locations. So think of these like territories that are going to give you some sort of benefit and having like kind of like a faction meter. And the more people you help on these particular lands will determine the bond you have with them, and these missions will motivate exploration. So the more bonds you have with that specific area, the more options and more stuff you'll be able to obtain from that specific area. Now, there is one interesting game mechanic that also ties in perfectly, and this will almost make perfect sense when it comes to these lands and you being able to play, and that is the ability of the game having a karma system, which is some sort of progression resource. It symbolizes the destiny people carry from one life into the next, but karma only represents one system. There's another one more traditional to XP that players will retain after death. So think of karma. The more you help people, the more you do work on these lands, the more karma points you will get. And it's not tied specifically to the XP meter, but it is an extra way of you leveling up in the game. So you're not only going to have to level up the character, but you're also going to have to level up your karma points. And if you're not thinking about karma in the real life, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Now, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about weapons. The game has different types of weapons. As you guys may already know, expect your typical, weapons like katanas and stuff like that. But these weapons are going to make sure you home down on a specific skill known as parrying. So if you don't like parrying, you're going to have to learn how to parry and try to play another game and figure that out, because its game is pretty focused on you being able to parry. Now, you'll be able to employ tricks like setting your katana on fire to deal extra damage. Now, there are going to be other elemental types that you're going to be able to infuse your katana with, which we will talk later in another video. There are different variety of weapons, like for example, a polearm, a western firearm, such as pistols and rifles. So don't think that you're just going to be using a sword only. You will have firearm as your disposal. And remember that grappling hook we talked about earlier? Well, you're going to be able to use this grappling hook offensively as well. And this is just a tip of the iceberg, because there are more things you're going to be able to do on Ronin, but you're going to have to wait till we get closer to the release of the game. I did want to bring you guys this little bit of insights and more information on why you should be pumped for Ronin, which is launching on March 22nd on the PlayStation 5. Let me know if you guys plan on picking up this game. If you do, why are you picking it up? What are you mostly excited for? And what more information would you like to know about the game that you don't know about it? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.